फिर से वो बनो जो तुम हो, पंजे बाहर निकालो, शेरनी की तरह ऐसे.
Welcome, Sushmita. Thank you so much for making time to speak to IMDb.
My
Um,
pleasure, Ashwini.
I want to start with just saying congratulations, because congratulations are in order for your acting comeback, for your first web series, for the biggest personal win, I think, because this comeback.
Beautifully said. Yeah.
Because this is not just an acting comeback. I think I followed you for the longest time, and I know that it's a comeback in a lot of more senses than just doing another film or a series, for your audience.
You're
So
going to
thank
make
you.
me cry if you keep going like this, Ashwini. But I, of all the interviews I have done, nobody has highlighted that. Yes, it's a debut on OTT. Yes, it's a comeback after 10 years. And yes, it's a beautiful show that is being received with so much love and appreciation. And all of that aside, it is a personal win. That it has to be a person like you to see that. It's amazing how much it has taken to be able to um, transcend layers of disappointments, personal, professional, social, name it, and I've had it, to constantly pat yourself with whatever little energy you have left and say, apna time aayega. It's one thing to say we want to watch you again. It's quite another that when you do show up, they go out of their way. No lockdown holds them back. No hoardings on the streets, no noise out there, just word of mouth and the fact that they waited for this and they're all out. They're the reason this show is a success.
So for me, the only one reason to watch Arya was and is Sushmita Sen. But what was that one reason for Sushmita Sen to do Arya?
I was in the midst of another film, actually, a film and a web series, toying between. It was there, but they needed to make some changes, and we were in the talks for doing that. And suddenly, out of the blue, in the midst of doing all of this, a very dear friend calls me up and says, I want you to listen to the script. And I was amazed with the speed at which this is when the universe conspires. Something that we were planning for 6 months stopped in its tracks the minute Arya walked in. It was like, okay, now this is it. How do you know that? Is because in the one thing that you ask for is a marriage. It's a marriage of a fantastic script, an author-backed role in it, of course. You are the name of the show, and has a character that has layers and layers of work in it. And you haven't even scratched the surface of the layers in season 1. We have 5 seasons written. You can't imagine what's to come after. And that script, director like Ram Madhvani and his team, absolutely my soul connect. We think alike on many levels. And then, given that the script is Hindi centric, very Indian in emotions, progressive, but yet very Indian in emotions, Disney Plus Hotstar, because its audience is very much Indian, it just kind of sat together and I said, this is it, this is perfect.
Wow, it was just meant to be, I think. So I watched one of the behind the scenes that Disney Plus Hotstar put out. And in that you said that, while doing Arya, you discovered things about yourself that you had never done before. Now, for someone with that much, 26 years of experience in craft, that's beautiful to say, right? I'd love to know, now that everyone's watched the show, don't worry about spoilers. I'd love to know, like, what were those things that you discovered about yourself?
Oh, that's a lovely question, Ashwini. The truth is, every time I came on a set or I worked as Pooja, Aarti, Rupali, a character, it was a lot of projection rather than feeling, because also the kind of films I did, the romantic comedies, the item numbers, the commercial stuff, and then an occasional Samay and a Filhal, occasional. More so, we were very commercially inclined. It didn't really help me grow a whole lot. So I never discovered Sushmita in a film. I discovered Puja in a film, an Aarti in a film. And therefore, there was also a lot of disparities and jumps in performances. I, for one, have never been of the notion that I'm a brilliant actress. I have no such false notion, never had it. What I have is a lot of imandari. What these 10 years did is it allowed me to go back to being an observer of life, which I had stopped doing because I was constantly running from home to a set, back to the house, back to a set. There was no time to really observe life. And in the process, I wasn't growing. What I meant by I discovered a lot about myself during the making of Arya was Ram Madhvani as a director believes that you have to stay close to the truth for it to be the truth, for it to be convincingly raw, which meant that while filming Arya, I had to no longer portray or project. I had to be. We weren't allowed to use glycerin to cry. We weren't allowed to cut, to add sweat and a feel. If we had to sweat or cry or break down or be shattered, it had to be there and then. The best way you could reach it was to feel it.
Right.
I have actually been pretty naked for the first time in front of the camera. And this I did not know I was capable of because I am extremely private as a person. Very, very private. But there it was. It had in the writing so many triggers that even when I'm trying to put up the facade of not showing it, that trigger would just hit home and I would feel something. And whatever that feeling was, it would translate itself into a moment where they would be, we got it.
What stood out for me in the performance was just how restrained you were. You know, there were so many moments where I felt like, you know, ab jawab degi, ab bolegi, ab she's going to really, you know, say it back or give it back. And you just don't.
You know, that's beautifully said because as an actor who's been in the industry 26 years and done a lot of commercial work all throughout my career, there is a set pattern. Your shattered expression 101, 105, 110, and it must progress to 1,000. You have to be shattered. More shattered than people even watching it for them to feel it.
Right.
But the truth is, there are people in this world, not every person is going to have innately the ability to take over a mafia drug cartel business. It's not in them. So what is a person like who can go that length? That is the kind of person who uses all of her pain and doesn't waste it in being shattered. Uses it to get ready to hit back. And I know as an audience, you keep feeling, ab usko kuch karna chahiye, ab marna chahiye, ab karna chahiye. But the truth is, if you're staying true to life, she's a very small picture in a very big scheme of things. Just the fact that she's being able to protect her family and not getting killed is a victory by itself at this stage.
So I cannot even imagine you coming from, like, say, maybe your last memory of doing a Bollywood film or
no problem. Yeah.
And then coming to this, you know, no action, no cut, no glycerine sort of setup. I was very intrigued to understand when all the actors are given a brief and said, keep it organic, feel it. You know, don't do it if you don't feel it. How do you all see the same film?
Brilliant question. Arey, kahan thi ab tak, Ashwini? This is what we need to analyze any creative work. Beautifully asked. What happens is it kind of trickles down from the top of a pyramid. And that pyramid, is helmed by Ram Madhavani. So what he does is that through his writers and his ADs and the team, even his executive producers, he creates an on-ground, emotional, social black book.
Wow.
Color schemes, before the incident happens, stronger colors, after the incident, muted colors, colors leading up to a white. Even though you should be wearing white before that. But no, there's a family of, so when you are narrating to an actor, you're not letting the actor imagine it. You're showing them exactly what you see. And so if you just narrate to an actor, the actor is a greedy creature. Say, wow. For example, ये धंधा पहले मर्द संभालते थे, अब बचे नहीं. If you tell me this line, I am like each man. I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking, मैं ऐसे बोलूँगी, फिर ऐसे pause लूँगी, फिर ये क्या line है and all. They don't leave it up to you. They tell you that you are to throw this away because the line itself is powerful. An Arya and a man, the biggest difference is a man has to look into your eyes, maybe nail you to the wall, show you a weapon and say a line, you know. Arya just has to throw it away because she does not have to project it, she has to mean it. Now, all of this was so evident that no actor unnecessarily imagined a different Arya. Down to the final light position, we knew exactly what was going to be made.
It shows. It totally shows. Like, I felt like I was a fly on the wall, just watching
that
somebody's life.
I feel like that. I've acted in it, but when I come and look at it on Hotstar, I'm thinking, yeah, must hai. And I'm not like, for a moment I forget कि मैं कुछ अपना देख रही हूँ. You get really drawn into it and you start saying, अरे, I didn't notice this. I was performing something and पीछे से वो हो रहा था, वो तो पता नहीं था, मेरे को आज तक पता नहीं था till I saw it.